Welcome to the Grit of the Matter, where we talk about what it takes to grow through life's unexpected challenges. I'm Denise, and this podcast is built on 5 pillars: grace, resilience, intentional, trust, and thrive. These conversations are for inspiration and education only and are not substitute for medical or professional advice. Please consult your qualified provider for your personal needs. If this resonates with you, be sure to like, follow, share, and make sure to turn on those notifications so you never miss an episode. Now, let's get to the grit of the matter.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in today. Have you ever been surrounded by people and still felt completely alone? Not physically alone, but internally alone. Alone in your thoughts, alone in your fears, alone in your exhaustion, alone in something no one else seems to see. I have, and I want to talk about that today. Because isolation is one of the quietest struggles that we face and one of the most universal. There were seasons in my life where I was navigating symptoms doctors just couldn't explain. I was told things like, it's probably stress, it may be in your head, you just need to push harder. And when someone questions what you're experiencing, especially a professional, something subtle can happen. You start questioning yourself, and that is a lonely place. Not because people aren't around you, but because your internal experience feels unseen. And I want to pause here for a second because this happens to a lot of people. Maybe it isn't a medical issue. Maybe it's something emotional. Maybe it's burnout. Maybe it's grief. Maybe it's anxiety that no one else can see. Whatever it is, when someone dismisses what you are feeling, it can make you start wondering if you're the problem. And I want to say this, I want it to be clear. If you feel something in your body or in your life that does not seem right, trust yourself. Keep asking questions. Keep looking for answers. Because I spent years doing exactly that. Here's what I've learned. Isolation isn't just about being by yourself. Isolation is what happens when you feel misunderstood. It happens when you look fine on the outside, but don't feel fine on the inside. You're the strong one for everyone else. You don't want pity. You don't want to be a burden on anyone. So you carry it quietly. I've done that more times than I can count. I'm generally a happy go lucky person. But when I'm struggling, sometimes I pull back. Not because I'm ashamed, but because I don't want people to see weakness. And honestly, I don't want pity. My life and the things that I've been through helped shape who I am. And I want to be seen for that strength, not reduced to the struggle of the situations. But here's the truth that changed my perspective. At this very moment, while you're listening to this, there are millions of people navigating something heavy. Millions living with rare disease, millions navigating invisible illnesses, millions grieving something they haven't said out loud, millions feeling dismissed, millions feeling exhausted. You may be alone, but you are not alone in your experience. And one thing that helped me shift out of that feeling of isolation was this. I started focusing on what I could control, not the diagnosis, not the timelines, not what other people believed, but what I could do today. For me, that meant things like staying physically strong so my body could handle whatever comes next, continuing to learn and understand my body, leaning on people who have shown up for me, and grounding myself in my faith when I didn't have the answers. Those small things gave me back a sense of direction. Now, I also need to say something important. My strength has not come from just me alone. Without God and without my family, I would not be standing the way I am today. There were nights I didn't have the answers. There were seasons that I didn't understand what was happening. Let me just say, this still does happen. And in these moments, my faith has steadied me, not because everything suddenly made sense, but because I knew I wasn't carrying it alone. Now, my family has always been my anchor. My husband has walked through every health challenge with me, and he always says, "We're in this together." And when someone reminds you that you're not carrying everything by yourself, that changes how heavy these things feel. I've also learned something else along the way. There's a difference between being resilient and being hardened. Resilient people stay open. Hardened people shut completely down. Resilient people adapt. Hardened people build walls. Resilient people allow themselves to feel grief, and it happens, but they don't let grief become their identity. And if you're walking through something right now, here are a few things I've learned that might help. First, trust what you feel. If something feels wrong in your body or your life, don't ignore that. Second, stay curious about your strength. Strength doesn't always look like pushing harder. Sometimes strength is adapting and finding a different way forward. And third, allow yourself space to process. For me, sometimes that looks like something simple. Run in a bath and sitting quietly and let the emotions just settle before I move forward again. Thriving does not mean everything is perfect. Thriving means you woke up, you moved forward, you tried again, you did not give up. That is thriving, and that is what counts. If you feel alone right now, picture this: somewhere in the world, another home, another country, someone else is sitting with the same fear, the same frustrations, or maybe even the same exhaustion that you're feeling right now. You are part of a shared human experience. You are not outside of the story. You are inside of it. This is what the grit of the matter is all about. Grace, giving yourself the space when things change. Resilience, choosing not to harden. Intentional, deciding who you want to become next. Trust, especially trust in yourself. Thrive, even if thriving looks different than you once imagined. You may feel alone sometimes, but you were not all alone in this. You never have been.
Thank you for being here today. If this episode encouraged you, please share it, leave a review, and turn on those notifications so we can continue to grow together. Remember, strength isn't about being untouched. It's about choosing who you become in the process. And wherever you are in your journey, you are not in this alone. This is the grit of the matter. So keep moving forward.